guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and guess what? I have one heck of a dream classic car for you. What is it? It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is a 1965 Ford Mustang. This particular one is a GT 2+2, plus it's known as a K-code. But before we get into this Caspian Blue original pony car, let's talk about what's going on here. The Mustang. There's no other car that really has that iconic appeal, not only in automotive history, but also in people's history. Everybody has a Mustang story, and it's always been that go-to, non-stop production from 1964 and a half all the way to the modern era. There was never a stop point in the lineage of the Mustang. Unlike a lot of other cars, Camaro, obviously the Firebird and Pontiac are no longer in existence. Even the Corvette technically missed a year, 1983. There was no actual production car that was a 1983 model. So with that being said, of course, these original Mustangs are just lusted after. And what's interesting is that back then you could get your Mustang actually three different ways, body type wise. You had a coupe, which was the notchback. You had my personal favorite, which is what this car is, the fastback. And then of course you had the convertible. Now besides the different bodies, of course, this one being a GT, certain trims, and then underneath the hood was a plethora of engine options. This one, if you look at the VIN code, which is that number that is at the base of the windshield, the vehicle identification number, you'll notice that where the engine placement falls is the letter K. That means that this has the high output V8. 1%, right around 1% of all Mustangs made from 65 to 67 are K-code powered Mustangs. So very, very rare. But what I want to find out is the Mustang, the original 65 Mustang, better than what was to come from Chevrolet with the Camaro, Pontiac with the Firebird, and then of course by 1970, Dodge with the Challenger? Is it better than those? And is it the best built of classic cars? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the proportions. There's just something that is so special about this car, especially that fastback design. Lee Iacocca and the rest of the Ford team was definitely onto something, because all those baby boomers that were born after World War II, that's why they call it the baby boom, because so many GIs came back from World War II, they wanted to have some kids. And that's where we have all these people. Ford and Lee Iacocca knew that those people were teenagers and they were getting their driver's licenses, and they wanted a fun, sporty car that was also affordable. That's why the Mustang exists. Now at the front of the business, I love the classic layout. If you look at Mustang generations that followed, you see a lot of the lineage. So you have those traditional round headlights. You'll notice the indentations. This is that tri-bar setup. So if you have, say, an S550 Mustang like I do, you would know that that tri-bar setup are actually the daytime running lamps inside the headlight housing. But I love the housing and how sunken in that headlight is. Just gives it a nice classic look. Working our way down, we have, of course, popular back then, the full chrome bumpers, turn signals mounted nice and low. And then as we come across the front of this GT, you're gonna notice some unique touches. We have the optional driving lights. So this was an option. And then you'll notice how the Mustang is in its corral. That's the original chrome Mustang badge with the honeycomb grille from behind. But just like I said, the way that the front end is sculpted just checks off every box of a true car enthusiast and a car lover. Now, as we rise up, we got the Ford name nicely spelled out. I like the way the hood kind of curves down a little bit. A bit of a peak, and then it actually evaporates as you get close to the windshield. Underneath the hood is that high revving K-code engine. This car is as close as you can get to a 65 Shelby GT350 without buying a Shelby GT350, because the K-code Mustang is what Carroll Shelby started with. That was the platform and then he did the modifications to make it a Shelby GT350. That's why the values on these are starting to go through the roof, because the values of Shelby GT350s have been through the roof. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire. So you're gonna have your optional upgraded wheels, steel wheel. I love that kind of copper bronze-esque finish on the insides. Beautiful chrome all the way around, 14-inch wheel, and this does have the optional red line tires. Back during this time period, white wall tires were the norm, but then you started to see some color in the tire sidewall. Red, gold, yellow, blue. I'm really digging the red with the Caspian blue color. There's that badge. High performance, checkered flag, 289. What does 289 mean? That means it's a 289 cubic inch V8. And this thing could rev a little bit north of 6,000 RPM. 6,000. Now, as we come down the side, you have your GT badge, the Mustang name spelled out. We have our white side stripe. Really gives it a nice clean look. No over-the-top stripes or anything like that. You would have to go to Carroll Shelby and get a Shelby GT350 to get the over-the-top stripes. But I love that nice, tasteful side stripe. You have that indentation of that side cove. This is another just unique part of the styling. This one is only spec'd with one single mirror. So we only have one single driver door mirror. There's not a mirror on the passenger door. And I always have loved the vent windows, the triangular vent windows where you could open them up and bring cool air in. That fastback design, we're gonna swing it around and show off that beautiful work that they did to the interior of that venting there. Honeycomb finish, just like on the grill. This shape is just so classic. I wanna rub my hands all over this thing. That high peak fender coming into the rear. You got your tri-bar taillights, the Ford Mustang badge, and this is where you put your fuel in. So this actually screws off and you put your fuel in there. And then as we work our way down to ground level, you do have your dual outlet exhaust, nice stainless steel tips. These are tips that are specific to the Mustang GT. But boy, oh boy, what a classic layout of an icon. Let's go ahead though, let's pop the hood and talk more about what K-code means. All right guys, we got the hood popped. Underneath the hood, look at that beautiful chrome filter cover. 289 cubic inch V8 HiPo, and everything has been restored exactly how it came off the assembly line. Even the assembly markings that the assembly line workers would put, those are all the markings. You could easily see the fuel filter right down there. And then all this engine has is an alternator. There is no AC available when you went K-code. You couldn't even option it in. No power steering, no power brakes. You really have that mechanical feel with every inch of this vehicle. So you're looking at that solid lifter V8, 289 cubic inch, 271 horsepower, 312 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to that top loader 4-speed manual gearbox. 0 to 60, if you know how to slam through those gears, 5.5 seconds. It's got a 9-inch rear end. Top speed, 117 miles an hour, 350 gears, and this also has the rally pack. Now, what's awesome about this engine is that it is high revving, and that's one of the reasons why Carroll Shelby wanted to go with it, is because you can rev this a little bit over 6,000 RPM, and for a pushrod V8, especially back in 1965, that's huge. I'm gonna see if Steven can kind of squat down with me right here and show the Holley 4-barrel carburetor right behind our distributor cap. There's the 4-barrel Harley carburetor on that intake manifold. Of course, we have our distributor cap, spark plug wires. This is when you open up the hood and it's just engine. I love those days, being able to relive it with these cars, because it's just, you open up a hood today, you don't even know what the hell you're looking at. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this HiPo K-code and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 1965 Mustang GT K-code, baby. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this is one bad mamma jamma. I'm in love. I want to win it from Dream Giveaway Garage. But how much was it back in 1965? Here's where it gets crazy. MSRP for this thing was $3,866. Most of the options, of course, is that HiPo V8 that brought in a lot of cost. There's also the full center console. That was another pricey option. And then the pony interior with the rally pack gauges. But let's see what you got back in 65 to the door panels. Love the two-tone. That off-white with the Caspian blue outer really pops nicely. You can see the style to the door handle with a little bit of wood finish. And then, of course, the old school window cranks. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, here's the birth of the dual cowl dash with your Mustang badge. This is the glove compartment. You can put your gloves in there, or it will perfectly fit a box of Twinkies. Yes, Twinkies existed back in 1965. Slide on in. You got your old school push button AM radio. No CDs, no cassette tapes, no 8-tracks. This is for, obviously, your heat. And then cigarette lighter. This is where you start her up. And then this is where the magic happens. This is that top loader, 4-speed, manual transmission. Same thing you would find in a Shelby GT350. And then the seats. The pony interior. The reason why they call it the pony interior, here's the ponies. Two-tone, obviously full manual controls. And then you do have the rear back seat. Here's the center console. Rear back seat, that folds down. But just all the beauty that they have in this car from stem to stern is amazing. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the teak wood steering wheel in this Mustang GT. All right, guys, inside the business side of this 65 Mustang GT. Love the way it's got the Ford logo there, product of Ford Motor Company. What's cool is remember, we have the window cranks, but then you also have these windows that open up like that to bring nice, cool air in. Always used to love to open those in my dad's older cars. Pedal box, we got the clutch, we got the brake pedal, and the throttle. Do you see that silver button in there? That's for the high beams. Click it on, click it off. Real simple, straight to the point. Manual seat controls, of course, in this car. I'm 6 feet tall. I feel fine. It's just, it is a smaller car. This is not like a Ford Fairlane or Ford Galaxy. This is a Mustang, and it was really made for that younger generation. Steering wheel, love the teak wood, the nice ornamental design. You got the Ford Mustang badge in the center. This is not your horn. Your horn is actually right there. But I love the way they notched out all those holes there, just like that. And then check it out. We have our rally pack, tachometer, clock. Then you got your speedometer top dead center and your other gauges flanking it. Nicely laid out. But I have one more place I want to show you. I want to show you the trunk because it's been restored to perfection like the rest of this Caspian blue Mustang. Let's get back there because I want to go on throttle with you in this K-code. All right, guys, we got the trunk up. I really want to show this because when you're looking at an older classic car, muscle car, whatever, the trunk is an area where a lot of times you can find rust because of condensation buildup. You look at the inside of this trunk, it is spotless. You have the original style trunk mat. You could actually see the tube for the fuel filler neck. This is where your fuel goes into the gas tank underneath. Tires were full-size spares, and this is how they had them mounted. What's fascinating is that if you look at a Shelby GT350, Shelby actually takes the spare and mounts it where normally the rear seat would be. But love seeing the space and how it was used back then, but you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. Get your flux capacitor and a box of Twinkies because we're gonna go back in time and go on throttle in this 65 Mustang. All right, guys, we are inside this 1965 K-code Mustang GT. And just right away, it is a true time warp the way that this one has been restored. Love the sound of that small block V8. high revving. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle. Yeah! It's crazy just how visceral of a driving experience this is because of the manual steering, because of just how bare bones cars were back then. I mean, you were paying the price for what was underneath the hood. But it is nice that we have the pony interior as well. But this car is so rock solid. Of course, you're gonna get some creaks and some rattles, but other than that, this thing tracks nicely, straight and true down the road. Clutch feels great, and of course that 4-speed top loader transmission. On throttle! This is where the legend started for the Mustang. And the fact that if you can't swing the crazy price of a Shelby GT 350, guess what? This is your next best thing, because this is the platform that Shelby started with, was a K-code Mustang. On throttle! It puts a big, huge smile on your face, because everywhere you go, people are giving you thumbs ups. People are asking you, hey, what year is it? And those that know, when they find out it's a K-code, they really appreciate the rarity of this car. And it's crazy because after the past few years, the value of the K-codes has really climbed. Especially when you have a nice example like this one. But like I said, it's incredible that after all these years, how well this car drives. The classic gauges, the rally pack gauges that are extra, the teak wood steering wheel, and I'm loving this freaking gearbox, man. It's rock solid. It really, really is. Kind of cool to be in a car where there's no infotainment system, roll up windows. Hell, there's no power steering. So really gives you a nice feel when you're behind the wheel. You feel everything, I promise you. You know exactly what the car is doing without having any of the power adjustments that kind of sometimes numb and make things very vague, especially in older cars like these. But this is the legend. The Ford Mustang GT. And to top it off, the K-code. Also, really digging how this is a fastback. Now remember, back then you actually had 3 different ways to get your Mustang. You had the coupe, the notchback, you had the fastback, which is my favorite, and then you also had the convertible. Believe it or not, there are some K-code coupes, the notchback. Those are even more rare, of course, than the fastback. But just what a great experience. This is what cars are all about, is being able to not only enjoy the new stuff, but also know where did the names come from, you know? Seeing the birth of the Mustang, 1965, especially with this being a GT. But this is one car that I definitely want to win from Dream Giveaway Garage. I wish I could win it and park it in my garage, because it is a pristine example. It's just one of those cars that you got that high winding V8, but then you also can just sit back and cruise with your arm out the window, cruise the beach. pick up some girls. I'm married, I got the best one. But for those who aren't, you go pick up a girl, pick up a guy, whatever is going on in your neck of the woods. This is definitely the car to do it in. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of this 65 Mustang GT. We're gonna get back to Dream Giveaway Garage and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys. I tell you, I love coming to Dream Giveaway Garage. It's like being able to get behind these vehicles and going back in time and being able to share it with you. The best part is, remember, you can win this. And it's a twofer because you also win a classic Ford truck. Remember, use the Radies Rides promo code. If you spend $25 or more, you get 3 times your chances of winning this giveaway. And remember, I don't get paid to say that. I don't get paid on any sale of tickets or anything. That's just Dream Giveaway's part in wanting to get a Radies Ride subscriber to win this amazing car. But let me know what you think. Is this K-code, this HiPo Ford Mustang GT, the best classic car ever built? And would you rather have it over a Camaro, Firebird, or Challenger? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood. He films them when they're new, he films them when they're old, and everything in between. So show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.